everyone. Welcome to another episode of our Sister Friends podcast. I'm joined today, co-host Jam and Sam, and two special guests, Darren and George. Welcome, welcome. Great to see you guys. Everyone is looking so lovely.
Thank you.
Clean.
You as well.
Thank you. Oh, let's get into it. I'm excited about this episode. It's part 2 of the men, where today we'll hear from the men, the single men, where they give us their viewpoints and what they expect from a relationship, what they expect from us women. And without further ado, let's get into it. I'm just going to ask the gentlemen to tell us just a little bit about yourselves, and then we'll just get straight into the meat of the matter. Who's going to start?
You can go ahead, George.
Okay. My name is George King. I was married 17 years. Separated 3 years. And I have 3 lovely kids. Well, actually 4, because I have custody of my brother's kid. So that's basically a quick backdrop of my story.
All right. Thank you, George.
You're welcome.
All right. My name is Darren. I am 32 years old. Currently in a relationship, but I feel like if there's no ring on it, you're still single. So.
Okay, Yonsei.
And
whoa!
Shots fired early.
Shots fired real quick. Okay.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's truth.
Enjoying life. That's it.
Okay, so hold on. Would you categorize your relationship, Darren, as a committed relationship?
Yes, of course. It's a committed, exclusive relationship.
Monogamous
relationship. But until I do is said, you're still single. That's how I feel.
So marriage is your definition.
Sam is speechless. I've never seen Sam speechless.
Jano. So your definition of if you're in a relationship, how are you single? What is your definition of a relationship then?
No, so a relationship is 2 people who are exclusive and committed to each other. But if somebody cheats in a relationship, it's just cheating. But if you cheat in a marriage, that's adultery. So I feel like that it's more serious in a marriage covenant than just a boyfriend-girlfriend. Boyfriend-girlfriend is just a play on words, but husband and wife is the real deal.
So do you think that if you, in that line of thinking, I have quite a few questions. In that line of thinking, if you cheat, is it easier to, in a relationship where you're not married, right? As in, I do's, sign a piece of paper, religious ceremony, if you will, for those who care for that. If you cheat in anything that's not that situation, should it be absolved and forgiven? Does it count as does it weigh at all? Or does it just not weigh as heavily as it would weigh in a marriage?
I think the latter answer that you said. If you and I are in our relationship and I cheat, right? You and I just break up, we go our separate ways. Whereas in a marriage, if cheating takes place, then now there's the laws involved. We have the kids are involved. We have separation of assets and all these various things. So I feel it's more, the consequences are heavier in a marriage than compared to just a boyfriend and a girlfriend. Yes, you're still gonna, out of respect, be committed and be serious in a relationship, but the consequences are heavier for a marriage.
But outside of the tangible things that you're going to have to sacrifice or that you have to deal with, what about the intangible things like your emotions, your feelings? Are you saying that it weighs, the intangible weighs heavier as well in a marriage as opposed to non-marriage?
Hmm. Could you kind of rephrase it? Because I think I'm not.
Okay. You spoke about things that there's more consequences if there's cheating within a marriage, right? And the things you spoke of are tangible things.
Correct.
What about the intangible things? Is it if a marriage weighs more, is it emotions that's hurt within a marriage deeper and stronger and a larger sacrifice than the emotions that are damaged when you're not married? Do you guys understand what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying.
You're basically trying to say if it's different.
I want to know because
what say you, George?
Well, I see things different. I understand where he's coming from, though, but I see things different, so I would have to answer that different.
Okay.
I feel like in a relationship, whether you in a committed relationship or you invest in your time with somebody, it's a level of respect. That's why for me, it's not even about love; it's about respect. Because once you respect somebody that you're with, whether you're married to them or not, you're gonna respect what the foundation you have as far as the trust or lusting for somebody else or just trying to be with somebody else. So for me, it's about building. So whether you're married or not, I think a person should focus on building the foundation, and you can't do that when you're entertaining something else. So I see things a little different.
interesting.
Let me ask this follow-up. So, Darren, you're saying that until you're married, it's just a committed relationship. And I think Sam was saying, is the emotion stronger or not as does it hurt less if someone cheats on you when you're boyfriend and girlfriend or when you're married?
I think it hurts. Yeah, I think it hurts both ways. It's just that in the marriage you have more to lose. In a relationship, you don't have as much to lose. But I believe it's still gonna hurt in the marriage outside. It's still gonna hurt. Yeah.
Okay.
Hurt equally.
Equally, yeah.
Okay. So let me ask you this, George, from your perspective as someone who's been married, right, and is currently no longer married, if I understood that correctly.
Separated, to be honest.
Separated. Okay. So as someone who's experienced a long-term marriage, 17 years, that's a long time.
That's a good number of years. That's
coming from somebody who was married too. So do you see a difference between married with the exception of the tangible things? Do you see the difference between being married and not being married? Would you get married again? I know you're separated, but let's just say.
I mean, I would never turn down, that factor. But right now, I'm just focused on myself as far as myself and my kids, because you can't go to another relationship broken. So for me, I have to do a lot of repair with myself. So I don't have to bring that baggage on to the next relationship. And, I get to figure out who the hell I am. Because you think you know who you are.
That's some very powerful, strong words. And I don't think we hear it often enough, to be honest. That speaks volumes, that speaks growth, where I'm not ready for another solid, committed, grounded relationship until I heal me. Am I hearing you right?
You're right, because it's not fair to whoever else I decide to be with.
And it's not fair to yourself either.
Exactly. So, I come first, and I didn't realize that. So I have to put myself first. So I got to figure out. I'm in the process of figuring out who I am as a person in general, because society changed, and the view of society changed, and this generation of women is just different when I was out there. So yeah. So I gotta
tell me a little bit more about that.
Oh yeah,
it didn't change. You're still here.
Man, they had me. No, it's different, man. I was more of a predator back in my days, but now it's like it's reverse roles right now in society, which is nothing wrong. Yeah, it is. It's crazy. There's no meaning to.
So you're saying the women are now going after the men? The women are now the predators?
Are
And if
they
you
more
look at,
aggressive? Are women more aggressive nowadays
I think they have to be
in
because
the
you got a
dating
lot of feminine men out here. So the women has to be aggressive because the men here is lacking too. They try to be too feminine. Like society is upside down. That's the way I view it. So
I see you shaking your head, Darren. You agree with George?
I'm 100. I agree 100%.
yes, sir. Yeah, man. Society's changed. So right now, I'm just observing and
Whose
taking it
fault
all
is
in.
it? Whose fault is it? Why is
Well,
it?
you can't blame nobody. You just gotta understand that's how life is. Things change. You just gotta absorb it and either adapt to it or build your little world or circle. So
Do you think it happened, or a contributing factor is when women became equal, this whole equal rights? We want equal rights. We want to be
Equal pay.
equal pay, want to go in the work world instead of staying home and, being a housewife. We're out there, building our careers, building our businesses, being more assertive. Do you
And
think,
independent.
and thank you. Is that a contributing factor? Is it because we became more, vocal about
well,
that?
that's always been the Black woman, but society has used that in the wrong context. So what you just described is a strong, independent Black woman, but at the end of the day, if you're talking about as far as raising a family, if you're talking about being an equal, then no, a woman is not an equal. That's why in the Bible, if you want to go to spirituality, the woman comes from the rib, which is beside us. That doesn't depreciate her value because at the end of the day, a woman is what keep a house afloat. When the queen is mad, then, and I can tell you that firsthand, when the queen is mad, nothing else matters. So, if somebody can accept facts for what it is, which I think that's the problem with society, everybody want to go off how they feel. If you feel good, just do it. You have one life to live. Or if you want to be with another woman or another man and you same sex, go ahead. It feels good. So everybody's going off feeling and not principle or facts. So, and when I say facts, two women can't reproduce, two men can't reproduce. And that's a fact.
That's
and there's only so that's what I mean when I say facts.
okay. Okay. I feel you on that one.
Yes,
Darren, do you agree with George that men have become too feminine?
Yes, and I believe that it's engineered and it's intentional.
Okay.
We can only speak on the Black community because I'm Black, we're Black, so I can only speak on that. But the strongest unit of the Black community is the Black family, right?
Absolutely.
The father, the mother, and the children. And society knows that a strong Black community, it revolves around that. So if you want to destroy the Black community, you gotta attack the Black family. And so with the whole, like what Deloney was saying, with the feminist movement, which came in the 1950s, which was paraded as something that was supposed to be a benefit to everybody, or especially women, it was a detriment to Black women. And this is why.
Absolutely.
What happened is that, okay, as you have more independent Black women, right? The government set up programs and so forth where the only way that you can receive certain benefits is if the father is not in the home. That's one.
Section 8. Section 8.
Section 8. So you have the government promoting something that is going to be beneficial to you when the house is divided. The father cannot be in the home or else you do not qualify for the Section 8. That's one. Another thing coming back from slave days is where you have mothers who raise their daughters to be strong-willed, to be independent, to be strong, because you never know when you might have to be on your own. Whereas they kind of nurtured and, in a sense, neutered their boys to not be aggressive, to not be a threat to society because the slave master may do whatever. So what happened is you have mothers who baby their sons, who create strong women. And so now you have this role reversal where we have all these strong Black women and we have weak men, and they're not attracted to each other because the roles are reversed. And I think that's kind of what has contributed to, this off balance in my
That's
life.
a very interesting point. I've never looked at it that way. I guess I just contributed it. I contributed it to the mothers babying their kids, especially the sons, where they're allowed to, not you don't have to stand up, you don't have to be strong, while us girls, you're kind of raised to, you have to stand up on your own kind of way. Like you're the one that has to learn all the chores, but still do your homework, still participate in activities, while the son just gets to sit and live his best life.
Well, and he served his food
But
while the
of
daughter's
course.
in the kitchen cooking it, and the boy served his food.
But of course.
How?
Sorry, go ahead, Sam.
I believe it or not, and you ladies know how I am about the whole independent thing, because I think the strength of a woman is unmatched, and it's just innate within us, especially a Black woman. But I do agree to a certain point with Darren. I do. I agree that I agree that the feminist movement was an anti-Black woman movement in the United States, right? So, and I believe that to this day, the feminist movement in the United States is anti-Black woman movement. I don't believe that there is support for Black women within the feminist movement here. I agree with you as far as government subsidies, 100%, that is designed to destroy the Black families and the quote unquote minority families. I do believe that there is a threat to the stable Black home not just in the United States, unfortunately, because the United States is so influential. I believe that spilled over into a lot of other territories as well, that mindset and that mentality. So I agree with that 100%. And I think that I find that delinquent, non-sustaining men are shown more, right? Whether it be in media or whatever it may be. And the father who's committed, who's faithful, who's a good father is not, right? And it's not advertised as much, and it's not shown as much. And so the stereotype has been tilted, right? So I agree with that 100%.
Let me piggyback off of that. Let me throw something else in the ring here. What point in a relationship do you think it's the time to, like, as Darren started out, put a ring on it? So you found a person, you've gone out a few times, you've grown to meet the person. What makes you know that this is the right person to go to the next step, to get married to?
Is that for everybody or?
Oh yeah, go ahead, George.
Well, you're gonna know. You know, from my situation, I knew it when I first saw my wife. Even if I'm not with her anymore, I knew when I saw her that that's the one I was gonna marry. And I actually said that to a friend. So when the person's for you, just like when the season is coming, and just like a relationship can last a season. When it's winter, summer, spring, when things are approaching, you get accustomed to, how you say, watching out for, little signs of the time, or to reference a person, I'm using the season. But you'll know when somebody's for you. It's natural.
Oh.
But don't mistake what's for you as far as love for lust.
Okay.
That's what we fall short at.
Okay.
Go ahead, Darren, your take.
So I kind of want to not take the question, but kind of just put a twist on it for you, if you don't mind.
That's fine.
So if you believe that the person is for you and then things don't work out, was that person really for you?
What's the deal breaker? In other words, like you met you saw the person, this is going to be my future bride. So basically, what could break that thought, that flow, that process, the next step? Is that what you're saying?
Right.
What's the deal breaker?
What is the deal breaker?
I would say for me, I know I'm not a dude, but I would say for me, it's I do believe that people come into our lives for a purpose. And I do believe that they may have been the one for a purpose.
Yeah.
Right?
The season.
They have brought, yes,
Season.
may have brought, and I've experienced, I myself have experienced love, and it's not a forever love, but it was a purposeful love.
Right?
At the
It
time.
gave you a taste of what a purposeful love is.
Yeah, exactly.
I love the answer, Sam, because I feel like a lot of times sometimes we marry the one who was supposed to be for a season, and we turned it into a lifetime. And God basically put that person for us to learn things about ourselves or for us to grow. And once that time is up, then you let the person go. And I know from my personal experience, because I was never married, but I did get to the point of engagement where I believe that, this person who I've been dating, who she met my family, we have been dating for about 4 years. Both families know each other. In my heart of hearts, I felt like she was the one. But, there were still these red flags, which I said that, they'll go away with time. So I failed to pay attention to the red flags, which kind of made her not the one. But I think you just got to find that person who's not perfect, but perfect for you.
Nobody's perfect.
Nobody's perfect.
Excuse me.
You're not perfect. Sorry to burst your bubble, boo. You're not perfect. None of us are, but you're close, Flo. You're close.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So that's my take on it.
Okay, I have another question because I'm very intrigued, and now part one with the episode we did with the married men. This was a big issue. This was a big point of conversation as well. I'll just kind of give you a little bit of background. Is that I myself was married. I am divorced. I am currently not married, and I have been, I think it's about 14 years since I've been married. And I have spent a lot of time, as a single person. I went through the what George is going through now, that getting to know myself again, to getting to understand myself again, getting to love myself again as me and not me with a husband, right? Mm-hmm. So I went through that. It was a beautiful phase. I recommend it for everybody. But I am because of a need, right? Because I went through all of this, I am an independent woman, I lived in a country where I have no family. So I, did a lot of the raising of my son without a lot of help. So life forced me to be an independent woman. And I wear that title with pride, right? Because it was a lot of work, and it's just the way the cards fell for me. But so someone like me, or, say you meet a woman like me, what is that attractive or not attractive? Based upon what you gentlemen have been saying about a woman being strong and carrying a home, and it changing the dynamics of the family life. Does that make sense?
It does make sense, but I would never reference that as a downfall of to be a strong, independent woman. But that shouldn't be your main focus, to say I don't need anybody, I'm strong, independent. It's good that you can be independent and you don't depend on nobody, but at the end of the day, it's always good to have somebody by your side. So when I say, or I think when he's referring to society saying a strong, independent woman, society was using that against the Black men to say, hey, you don't need a man in your life. You can take care of your kids on your own. And believe it or not, when that Beyonce, to the left, all that bullshit, excuse my language, came out,
that's fine.
Around that time, a lot of women thought that, hey, we don't need a nigga. I don't want no scrub. blah, 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 blah. And now there's those generation of kids that robbing, have no respect for nothing. They don't even respect the street code. They don't even know their identity because they never had a father there to observe or to tell them, yo, my son, tighten up, or this is how the world gonna treat you. But they had nothing but hormones and emotion, which, women are full of estrogen, they create life. So
Yeah.
you put that to a child who has no guidance, you have society today. So
That's
it all
so
depends on
true.
how you apply that information. You can't just go out and say fuck men. Yeah, you respect men, but at the end of the day, you don't need a man. It's not the end of the world. You can survive, but you can't survive. Society won't thrive without the black men. I'm not just saying men. I'm saying black men.
Okay, so let me ask you this, George. So, in your opinion, do you see that a woman getting a husband, getting married, is that the highlight of, I shouldn't say the highlight of her life, but is that one of the best things to happen to the woman? Or is it the best thing that happened to a couple?
That's the best thing that happened to both individual. It doesn't go towards one sex or one origin. It goes towards whoever decide to join forces, because you have, instead of one mind, you have two minds. Instead of one income, you have two incomes. So it's not beneficial to the woman as if she's weak, and saying that, hey, if she power up with a man, is always beneficial to her. At the end of the day, it's a woman that encourage a man to go out there and conquer the world. When you go out there, you deal with racism and all the other shit we got to deal with every day. When we come home to a queen who lifts us up and, encourage us, so it's two people, man. It's not one person. So
how should your queen lift you up when you come home? You've had a long day, you didn't even get lunch, and you come home. What is your ideal situation to come home to?
if you're referring to like food and cooking, when my marriage, I did all the cooking. So
not just food, just you walking through the door, what would make you feel like, man, this woman got my back?
if she understands, when I walk through the door and I'm having a bad day off rip, she should know, just like I would know her.
Okay.
So when you're with somebody, that's why I say, for me, whether you're in a committed relationship or you dating somebody, it's building, because you're learning the person. So that's part of, building. When I walk through that door, she should already know, and I would already know if she had a bad day or it was hell at home with the kids, or if she's working too, because that doesn't mean she had to stay home and work. I'm just giving an example.
Right.
If I walk through that door, we should be so intertwined with each other that she know I had a bad day. So she would already know how to approach me, because we would have that understanding and that foundation. So, all that comes with building. And it's very important to build, because you get to know, why this foundation is important, why this wood is important, why the installation is important. Everything has a purpose in this household. So building is very important. And she would know that when I walk through the door.
All right, Darren, what is your expectation? You're in a relationship now. Even though you're not at the next step of marriage, for you, what would be the ideal thing for you to come home to?
I think for me, ideal would be, just one acknowledgement, just to acknowledge that I'm there. At work, a lot of times you have to put on a lot of masks and be a lot of different people. Right. So when you come home, it's kind of a freedom to just be yourself. And so that's maybe that freedom to just be yourself and not have to, not have any expectations, and maybe just a couple minutes to just unwind and not have to, talk or engage, and then eventually come back and then we talk about the day and so forth. So that's good for me.